girl, I'm back. You back. We back. Just like a smile. You already know it's me, your girl P, your favorite bitch, and your favorite witch. Welcome to this week's episode of Postscript, also known as PS the Talk Show. We're gonna put out a vintage topic, vintage segment. We haven't done it in a while. I just haven't had anything that really has, like, you know, really brought me to extreme laughter to where I felt like I wanted to share it with people until the day after the Super Bowl. So we're gonna start our show this week with laughable at best, if you remember this. If you've never seen this segment, this is where I talk about like funny tweets or memes or things I've seen on the internet that have just had me inconsolable. And this week it is the one specifically with the mother, Lady Gaga. She is in a blue dress standing on the stage performing at the Super Bowl. And somebody tweeted and said, "My Latina sister, Lady Guadalupe Gagita, I live," like that. And then it's a picture of her and they like knowing that this is going to be on a candle this week in a store. Hilarious. Like, that has been my favorite thing on Twitter right now. Like, it just gives very much, like when I was in high school, I used to log on to littlemonsters.com, if you know, you know. Just all the funny memes, all the just, and there's so many like tweets and posts and things and references that I get. It's just, I love being Little Monsters in our own world. So that's this week's Laughable at Best. Our next segment is going to be P's favorite pieces. Just a little piggyback off of our last segment. Lady Gaga is also the artist with the most Super Bowl appearances, with 3 now. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. But also, can we get into the hair? What? Okay, yeah. So I'm so happy I got my hair done because I'm like a person again. I love when I can see my scalp and see my parts, and it's just all fresh and just. So our next segment is going to be questions that need answers. Speaking of Super Bowl, it all has a theme, I guess. It all ties together. Did you know without the iconic Keenan Ivory Wayans, we would not know the Super Bowl show as we know it today. Super Bowl halftime show, that is. But so what happened in 1992, he had, you know, like a live and living color episode air during the break of the football game because they had like high school or college marching bands or something like that doing it. White schools at that, no shade. He had the live show and all the viewers left the game to come to the In Living Color episode to watch that and, you know, get some laughs or whatever, just maybe be entertained while a little break was going on. And then after that, they was like, nah, never again. So then that's when Michael Jackson was at the Super Bowl in 1993, I believe. So that's this week's question and the answers. Did you know that without Keenan Ivory Wayans, we would not know the Super Bowl halftime show as we know it? And it's happy Black History Month too. Great. What pissed me off today? What pissed me off today was the other day, I got a download that was like, yeah, you're gonna have to get a house in soon. And then I realized, like, with the astrology and stuff, and I was like, today it all clicked, and I was like, that's why I had that thought the other day. So I'm gonna have to, I feel, purchase a home before I do other things that I deemed more important. But shall remain unnamed. This week's bar for bar, Easy, Robbery, A$AP and Doechii. That song is just like, it's just so like big band swing jazz, and that's like part of the lyric. I think it says big band swing jazz, man, something like that. But that song is such a vibe. It's everything that I've ever needed. Like the cover of his album, the song, Doechii on that song goes off. Don't call me Doechii, just Chi when I'm in the wild. Oh, I love that song. Doechii ate down. But yeah, that song go off. So, like I said, Robbery, A$AP Rocky, Doechii. Okay, so for this week's Conscious Con, that does also tie into our previous segment when I was talking about, you know, feeling that I'm going to have to change my priority list and, you know, responsibility. So I am officially in the, you know, culmination of wrapping up of my Saturn return because on Saturday, Saturn will go into the sign of Aries, and I have Aries Saturn. So just want to, anybody who is around my age, look at your chart if you have access to it. If you don't, let me know. I can help you. Yeah. For our last and final segment, as always, hashtag I cannot make this shit up. So last week, you know, we talked about a few things, and I just feel like the energy of that really give, like, I want to do everything and nothing all at once, and, like, I can't focus or, like, really have, like, the energy to do it or the drive to do it, per se. But also, I really want to do it. But just remember that slow and steady and stable are okay, because delay is not denial, period. being grounded in circadian rhythms and having a calm endocrine system and nervous system. That is what is important, and that is what you should be looking forward to as an adult, because always just being on go and going through the motions, that's not flow state. That's not the same thing. Going through the motions and flow state is not the same thing. So do what you need to do so you can reach your true flow state, so that when you do things, they are effortless. So, like, also, let's talk about Uranus and Taurus, and I feel like that supports the stability in what I was just talking about, in the slow and steady. Because Taurus is going to keep you grounded and going to bring you security through upgraded practices and how you commit to things and relate to things and what you are loyal to or not. And then, Taurus is also ruled by Venus, and then with Uranus being tied to that, since we're talking about Uranus and Taurus, those themes are going to be things like money, love, values, like home, career, security, safety. And I don't mean safety in like, oh, like I feel like I'm in danger. I mean safety in a way that allows you to just be yourself and love yourself enough to be in your divine authenticity, not like filtering per se, if that makes sense. In spaces and with people that allow you to just do that and be that free. Maddie said, be aware of things that are performative versus meaningful. And then another thing that I want to comment on and just say is that you should be aware of how you physically react to things, like in your body. Like, for example, it's a lot that goes into this. Like, I didn't wash dishes when I was a kid growing up. That just wasn't a thing. And so when I moved away to like college or whatever, we had a dishwasher, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I physically cannot wash dishes. Like, I can't bring myself to do it. I can't. So yeah, that's the thing that I really noticed. Like, I don't have the capacity for it anyway. That's something that I noticed that my body like violently tenses up to, if that makes sense. I don't know. And then also remember that safety isn't something that you wish for and hope for and think about. It's something that you conjure. It's the space that you create with the person or with yourself, or you know what I'm saying. And so then Mercury being in Pisces right now, that really weakens the communication and the processing and comprehending of information, if you will. Mercury is the communicator. Pisces is the dreamer. So Mercury could be saying things, and then Pisces can put its own spin on it to make it a little bit cuter, if you will. But most importantly, remember I said like the details don't matter. So a thing that I got in my brain when I was like writing that was, I've been watching Run BTS again. It's like their little variety YouTube show thingy, whatever. So they had to collect letters to make words, and when you brought the words to present it to the person or whatever, they would give you points or something, whatever they were exchanging it for. And that, I'm sure that came to my mind because when I said details don't matter, they weren't per se going around and looking for, oh, I need this letter, this letter, this letter, this letter to make this word. They were just getting all of the letters and then just at the end kind of seeing like, all right, what I got, what can I say? Right. So with the communication and things being a little skewed, make sure that you are using your tools that you have access to, put you like planner, calendar, diary, the phone. I love using the phone for y'all. Just be FaceTiming and text. I use it for everything. I put people's addresses in it, their birthdays. It is the best thing ever. Love it. On February the 10th, Venus did enter Pisces, and to me that just gives love wins all. I'm sure you've seen that on a lot of like pride stuff and rainbow stuff and all that kind of stuff. It gives very Benito Bowl. Like, I don't remember exactly what it said on the thing. I think it said the only thing that's stronger than hate is love or something like that. So just all the vibes of that, the way that he just had so many messages and so many deep meanings and all the things, and it was chef's kiss. Because Venus is exalted in Pisces, so it has all the things that it needs to thrive. It has all the resources, all the answers, all of the lush vibes. On February the 11th, Mercury did enter Pisces. And that's a little opposite of what we just talked about with Venus being in Pisces. So with Mercury being in Pisces, we've already talked about it being, skewing the communication. Mercury in Pisces is also in its detriment and in its fall. And those are two different things. Even though they sound like that word, the two words that you're using would be the same thing, those are two different things. So detriment just means that it's in the opposite sign of its ruling planet. So that would be Virgo. Virgo, Pisces opposites. If you look on the astrology wheel, they're right across from each other. Right. So that just means it has no control, not the resources like we talked about. With Venus being exalted in Pisces. So with Mercury being in Pisces, it's also in its fall. So in its fall, it just means it's in the opposite of its exalted sign. So where it's exalted, it does well. So the opposite sign of where it does well, of course, is Pisces, because the sign that is it exalted in is in Virgo, right? You get how that works? Those two things, those is what makes it true. It's not one or the other. It's right. On February 13th, Saturn will enter Aries, and I have a Aries Saturn, so that, like I said, officially kicks off the wrap up of my Saturn return, because this is its last little stop here for a while. So be keen and pay attention to the foundation that you build around your house of the themes that we talked about earlier. That the money, the home, the career, the safety, the security, very 10th house things, very legacy things, very, this is putting my roots into the ground, if you will. Another thing I wanted to mention was Maddie said, small intentional steps taken now carry more weight than big promises made without support. And so I just feel like that ties to the weekend as well. It's going to be a Capricorn moon weekend. So that just gives show up and show out, because if you don't, then you could have just showed up. So that's just giving me very show up and show out. Because if you don't, you could have just shut the fuck up. You should have sat there and ate your food. So next week we will have a solar eclipse in Aquarius, and we'll go over some ground rules but right now, just keep in mind that, and we'll also have the Lunar New Year, also known as the Chinese New Year. So just remember, with the eclipses and being in the eclipse portal, we are not manifesting. We are not doing things for shits and giggles. We're not living in that Aries, Mars, burn it down, fire, rush quick, in a hurry energy. We're not doing things just to feel alive. Like, just, you know what I mean. I guess that also what I mean is we're not doing things that are causing us to chase dose fixes. And dose is dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. But we are setting realistic boundaries. We are knowing, acknowledging, and honoring and setting boundaries, limits, right? And we are paying attention to our dreams, messages, signs, angel numbers, things that keep resurfacing, things you keep experiencing. You're like, why do I keep happening? That little stuff. And then also, because with the Mercury and Pisces thing, be aware of, because I have been having like very vivid dreams recently, but they disappear so quickly. If I don't like document it as soon as I wake up, by the time I get back to the bed after I wake up to use the bathroom, I don't remember it. Like, I have to sit there and really take it in. Like, I literally had a dream about BTS the other day. It was crazy. But be aware of things that come into you in a flash. Just take it all in. I can't remember if it was Channing or Maddie that said, the less you resist change, the more you advance in your own revolution and evolution. I don't remember who said that, but I read it somewhere. One of them said it. So I really like that too. That's how we're going to show. That's how we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. Make sure you come back. We'll talk about some more of the eclipse stuff next week once it happens. So, yeah. Find my TikTok. If it's somewhere with a link that I can put it, it'll be there. And, yeah. You know how we end the show, but just be mad because they be hating. And but just be hating because they be mad. Bye, y'all.